Here we go. What's up, everybody? Feels like it's been a while. It's only been a few days, but feels like I haven't talked to you guys in a while. Just finished up watching the Monday scan. Anthony took over for Chris, and then Ariel hopped on as the guest. I thought Anthony did a phenomenal job. Ariel's always easy to talk to. He he loves talking stocks, so he's an easy guy to talk to, and he's got a lot of value to add. So it was a good Monday scan. So feel free to check that one out. First link down in the description, I put a Memorial Day sale that's over on at Investors Underground if anyone's interested. No pressure, but just thought I would throw it there in case anyone didn't know about it. As far as watches go, I had a couple trades there last week on Friday. Lottery, this one here started to gap and go, was trying to break out and ultimately failed. I was buying it on the first pullback right here, where it pulled back to the breakout level. I bought, and it just was not starting to build, so I took it off quickly. MLGO was a good one. This one here had run for a few days. 1, 2, third day gap up. Doesn't look like much in the chart, but this ran from 120 to 260. That's over 100% move right there. And it doesn't look like much just because the chart is so beaten down. But this is a habitual diluter. Not a typical daily chart that I'm looking for overextension trades on. But given the unique circumstances, was interested in pops here. We got a push off the open. I think the 1 minute shows it a bit better here. Yeah. We got the push off the open, a little high day clear out. This was our failed follow through level, 245s. So I'm reacting into this pop. Once 245s, VWAP acts heavy. That's a scale spot. And I started covering into the twos. This was some sped up, and then I was all done right here. So made it to like 190s max, ended up going to 170s. So left a bit on the table, but still was the meat of the move, was a really nice trade there. And then Qubit, I am currently still in right here through that 13 breakout. I bought that one as it was breaking, I believe. Oh, no, I bought it over here. That's right, because it was a bit straight up. So it pulled back, double bottom. I was buying right here, and I was risking the prior low. So although it looked like a great entry, I still had like a buck of risk, so I wasn't up a ton into highs. And then once we got this little pullback here into close, I moved risk to these 1280s. So far, weak close, but personally, I typically like weaker the close for a stronger gap. So I will keep this on watch. Bit contingent on how the rest of the quantum basket gaps going into tomorrow, but we will see. And then Pony, I believe, was the last one I had traded on Friday. We got this kind of a multi-day breakout here, an early entry through the 20s, and then 2130s was the key level that double topped there on the daily. Was gapping up through it there early, but by any sort of meaningful volume time, 7 a.m. comes in, it sells off right under it. Market opens. Market opens, get a flush off the open, breaks low a day, starts to set higher lows. I get long here versus low a day, and I took a full-size loss on that one. Was looking for that weak open to get absorbed. Pulled back right into that 20 level, looking for like a little undercut and rally type idea. Prior support to become resistance, and it just stayed heavy all day. So it continues to be choppy. It's not the cleanest mover. Every time I try to short it, it gets saved. Every time I try to buy it, it gets sold. So possible trade still coming on the 1640s breakdown. Could also continue to hold 1640s. I think Some longs might have got trapped into this push, holding for a bigger move. And if it breaks 1640, I think you got more people underwater. Probably a bit of an easier fade. Jack Kellogg had mentioned that this candle on Pony, I can show the daily first here. The way that it kind of pushed, pulled, Jack said it reminded him of this day here on QBTS, where it gets a big move, retraces the entire thing, and then soaks it right back up to highs. So it is a possibility, but not really a pattern in my book. We'll just be waiting for that 2130s break. Otherwise, looking for the 1640 break and just waiting for it to pick a direction out of that channel. NVIDIA, I think, if I'm not mistaken, has earnings next week. Let's keep that one on radar. A bit tough market to hold large caps for a swing trade when you've got such a like a market leader reporting. It could hit other names if you're involved in them. Tesla, these little flag breaks continue to work each time, and now it's holding up really well again. Possible setup coming there through a little flag break. CVNA, similar idea, over recent daily highs. Prior resistance now acting as support, starting to tighten and flag up here. Doesn't trade a ton of volume, but chart-wise is still there. BSGM, daily candle starting to get bigger. Volume starting to pick up. I'm liking this more and more. I think there's a lot of range on this back to the downside, but don't know how high it's going to go before then. So no reason to step in front. Went over the quantum names. Qubit, so far the vehicle I am trading. MLGO. In a perfect world, I would like for this to hold this first red day and not fade off. Each time it pops, it rewards a multi-day fade. And if it can catch shorts here, not fade tomorrow and actually start to pick up, it just becomes a better and better opportunity. As shorts are getting squeezed, you're pushing into bag holders and they still got tons of dilution on the back end. So definitely worth keeping on watch. Navitas, picture perfect to what I wanted to see. Wanted to see it consolidate with an inside day between this 4 to 5 range. And that's exactly what we got. Volume dropped off. Not quite as low as I would have liked, but it did drop off nonetheless. And a 5 trigger would entice me for a long trade. This is the one with that NVIDIA news. So I will keep this on watch. Possible T+1. Yeah, see where we're at tomorrow. 5 break and build. I think a move higher is in the cards. What else we got? So in here, volume just completely disappeared. Lottery got stuffed. No real plan there. CTMX consolidating. I'd put this in the same kind of setup as Pony, where you got the 250 breakout, you've got the 190s breakdown, and just waiting for it to pick its direction outside of that channel. SIDA getting some wicks back into daily resistance, continue to get stuffed. It's a bit of a choppy trader. Lots of gaps back and forth overnight and after hours trading and pre-market and stuff. So not the easiest trader, no real plans on it, but it is a big percent gainer. It is still trading volume, so I'm just keeping it on watch. ASST, we've got each day holding higher low, hasn't broken prior bar lows. And we've got a fairly clean trend here since the lows. So I'm definitely interested in this. If this was a daily, like macro clear out, and now it's going to sit back. Although it does have Bitcoin ties. So with Bitcoin making new highs and all of these other Bitcoin sympathies still holding up. It's not an easy trade by any means. The anchor in Bitcoin itself could still hold it. But looking at this name in a vacuum, this setup interests me. So ideally, Bitcoin starts to pull back, and we can get a clean trade on this one. Let's see. Luke thinks SPY gonna test Friday highs. A couple other names. SMR. Yeah, this one's moving. SMR, NNE, OKLO, all those ones in the nuclear basket. There's news on those. PCE. I don't know what that is. SPCE. I don't know what one he's talking about. Gonna break this. Novitas. Yeah, I touched on Novitas. Still waiting on Bass Hunter's live stream. He hasn't done one yet. Still waiting on it. He promised me. But it looks like there is a ton of stuff moving. Not the cleanest daily ops that I would like. Bunch of sectors moving. You got the nuclear sector, you got the quantum sector, lunar. You got like aerospace names, or it wasn't lunar, it was what was that one? Lightbridge, LTBR, different L name. This one here, pushing up to recent daily highs, has had a history of some nice multi-day moves. There's a ton of stuff moving. It's just not the cleanest where you get, like, you buy a breakout and you get the follow through day one, day two gap and go, you know, lock into strength, that sort of thing. That's not happening. They're slower, grindier, choppy trends. The overall big picture trend still holds. It's just continuing to take longer for the trades to set up, or to play out, I should say. And like with these quantum names, with other sector moves in the past, it kind of trickles down to small caps, and it hasn't really happened. Like QSI, for example, back here, when it trickled into small caps, it's just they're not really getting much attention. There's not a ton of volume. QMCO even, this one's a super thin trader, and it's just not getting any attention. So stuff's not really trickling into small caps in terms of sector momentum. It's a lot of mid to large caps. I think a lot of small cap traders are focusing on Fannie Mae and that other M ticker, whatever, MTPLF or whatever it was. People, like, there's more focus on OTCs with those ones moving right now. It's another kind of market shift that I don't think small caps are acting the cleanest right now. I think it's more in that mid to large cap realm. Just because crap's moving doesn't mean, yeah, there's a ton of stuff moving. And I'm trying to be patient and not just pay market tuition to find out, not F around and find out. So yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat there as Bass Hunter. I'm not super aggressive right now. I'm a bit hands off. Attention is pulled in a bunch of directions with all these different sectors that are showing relative strength in terms of the overall markets. Ooh. One moment. I will refresh. I switched onto the wrong. What the hell is going on? Weird. I think I'm back. Sorry about that. Um, the my computer just switched on to the wrong Wi-Fi network. That the switched on to the wireless one. It was yeah, okay, good. Yeah, it switched on to the wireless one. That's too far away. I don't know why it dropped the other one off. That was weird. But it should be good now. It says the quality is back up and running. Where was I? Bunch of stuff moving, bunch of sectors. It's like there's a I talk about like the maximum dollar block that Dux teaches. And it's like there's only so much money in the markets that can move stocks. And once that attention is spread across too many names, the trends and momentum are a bit choppier. That's kind of the reason why when you have 4 or 5 stocks gapping 100%, the odds on you shorting all of those and making money are very high. Or when you have one name that's the gapper of the day and the other ones are only up like 20%, that one is going to now have all of that money focused and condensed. It's super concentrated on one name, and it'll be choppier and not as clean. It might take a bit longer to work out. The high a day time might be a bit further than market open, where when you have 4 or 5 names that are gapping and they're all up 100%, traders don't know which one to choose and they're all spread across them, and then that's when supply wins because now demand is spread across 5 names instead of 1. And that's kind of what we're getting with these sectors. As people are rotating from one to the next, so it's not just direct momentum squeezing these things out. It's like there's a few traders here, okay, they lock in, they move to these ones, those ones pull back while they're in these ones, those ones move, and they're kind of bouncing around from sector to sector right now. And that's kind of what I'm seeing, and that's why I'm a bit hands off. Even looking at like QBTS, I was buying the breakout here on this day, and it gave back its entire move, which is not a constructive sign. And then next day gapped up, next day gapped up, next day gapped up. Like that's the clean move, but that day one of the breakout was nowhere near clean. That was ugly. And I don't know how to predict that. When the breakouts are a bit choppier and they don't move that clean, then I typically avoid the ticker altogether. So we'll see how Qubit goes. Last time it had a nice run and blowout candle, and it's got some room up here to the 16s. So I think there's $2.5, $3 of range off that 13 break. $4 I think is pushing it, but in that $3 range is what I would be looking for. Still long. If it gaps down, fails those 1280s, they'll have to stop out, and could be one of those things where it opens weak and then reclaims again, and that's just kind of the market environment it's in. Current quantum leader, you could say IONQ, or I'd say QBTS personally. I would say QBTS is the quantum leader. It was the first one that broke out. It was showing relative strength the whole time, while all of these names were all at lows. You had Rigetti, you had Qubit, you had QMCO, you had QSI. All these quantum names were back at lows from that recent run, and QBTS was right up into highs the whole time. It didn't fizzle out, so that's why I would call it the leader. Well, in terms of like main watches, Qubit, Novitas, Assist, it's just all recent runners that are putting in some sort of daily structure. But like, look at ASST. Like, you get a 1, 2, 3 day move into the breakout level, gaps over the breakout, gives back its entire move, goes red, and then gaps up like 8 to 9, like 15%, and then goes on a massive run, and then gaps down the next day. Like, yes, each daily bar is higher, but this isn't normal action to me. It seems a bit choppy. It is something that I can adapt to, and I'm not complaining. I think I would prefer to sit out, be a bit less aggressive on a bunch of these names, and then save that capital until stuff starts to make a bit more sense, moves a bit cleaner, and then I can, put some more size behind some ideas. But while stuff is choppy and grindy, I think I'm a bit on the safer side right now. Yeah, ASST. It's in that crypto basket. Yeah, you got with Bitcoin at all-time highs. Like, this probably gaps again, but you've got yeah, SEP and DVDH or whatever it was. You've got I think Kids was one of the first ones that had put out that PR, and this one is not participating in the slightest, which is a bit weird. Maybe it's due for a bounce with like a sympathy move. But yeah, I think I've said before, I'm pretty sure across crypto names, I think I'm probably red trading them. So I'm not like jumping at trying to trade this kind of stuff. So I think for now I'm just a bit hands off personally. Phil Godecker put out a tweet thread this weekend saying the best traders he knows, they don't trade every day, they don't trade every week, but they take those 1, 2, maybe 3 opportunities a month, 1, 2, 3 opportunities a quarter, and really sink their teeth into them, size into those A plus opportunities when they come around. And if you've got edge in some side of the market, I think you could identify what those ones that just are that slight notch up. They're just slightly better than the rest, and you don't need to trade all of them. But when you get that one setup that comes around that's that A plus, like the FFIEs that go from 5 cents to $4, that's A plus. That's worth putting a bit more risk on. That comes around once a quarter. SIDA was getting to that point if it didn't have that big gap down. If this was opening in a gap up or anywhere near green to red, this was worth putting that little bit of extra risk on and just sitting and waiting, and then make your month, make your quarter. And it's something I'm trying to do. It's easier said than done, because then once that time comes around, you got to not be risk averse. You got to be ready to go. And it's harder to do. It's easier to say. But that's kind of my mentality right now. Nate just put out his scan for tomorrow. I might as well read that while I'm here on stream. Nate saying nuclear and quantum, the clear 2 themes. That core weave was a great avoid. Barely even pulled back. And also with a bunch of like these mid to large caps, you have to keep options in mind too. Um, and I think some of that selling into close on like something like Qubit, keeping in mind that it was breaking out on a Friday, maybe market makers are unwinding some hedge positions, and then that opens the door for a real, quote unquote, real move on Monday or Tuesday. Um, so when you get like those counter trend mean revert moves into that Thursday, Friday end of day, I typically keep that on mind. And it's just another aspect that you don't have to worry about in small caps, but you kind of got to know that they're there. IMNN had an offering end of the day on Friday. Not a huge one. I think it was like $9 million. We had a few like round trippers. What was that other one? Was it Devs? Maybe? Yeah. Run up and just round tripped. Lower and after hours. PMAX, same thing. Round tripped, lower and after hours. Same thing. Round trip, lower and after hours. Could probably set a price alert at like 40 cents on this if it ever broke out over there. Wow, Fast came back. Wow. That's wild. That's kind of a breakout. 65 cents. I can't believe that thing came back. That's kind of a breakout. I mean, right there. I don't remember the last time I saw a gapper come all the way back like that in the daily. Massive gap, completely round trips, and then just step higher. Doesn't need to make sense, but it's just what typically happens is not happening right now. It's weird. Can probably throw Fast back on watch just because it is breaking out. Yeah, there's been lots of stuff the last few weeks. I think I was red last week. I think. I had a good start, and then I think I gave it back by Thursday, Friday. Once I got frustrated on SIDA after that gap down day, I think I gave my money back from the beginning of the week. And with all this stuff moving, like it's not fun, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's just There's no volume coming back in either. It's breaking out straight up off the lows. Hard to buy. This BSGM, I think, like volume-wise, I can't put it at like an A grade, but chart setup-wise, it's getting there. Like, look at the weekly chart. So I think I will keep this one on like on a chart, where last week I just had it in my watch list and I just kind of peek at it every once in a while. But I think I will have it up on a chart now going into this week, just because it's starting to speed up. So I will definitely be watching that one. But yeah, I think that's all I really got to talk about. A few kind of back burner third eye watches, but nothing that's like this is the one for tomorrow. So I will likely take it easy, see what Tuesday has to bring, and ideally get some better setups for my style. So we will see. Hope you guys had a good long weekend, you Americans. And yeah, trading well tomorrow, guys. I will see some of you in IU. Again, there is a discount over there if you're interested. No pressure, but feel free to click the link, check out the deals, and see what they got. But have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you guys later. Peace.